Hello, guys, and welcome back
Hello.
to Carchatters. It's our 9th episode. Quite crazy. We are still going, even though this lockdown is keeping us indoors. But nothing's going to stop me and Aaron from producing Carchatters. So if you didn't already know, we had Petrolped, the one and only, on last episode. We are really, really appreciative. And obviously, a lot of you guys already watched and really enjoyed it. But nevertheless, we are continuing and moving on to our next guest. Again, we're going to let him do all the talking and explain himself. So let's introduce JTV. So yeah, let's just give it some time for him to join us.
Hey, there he is.
There we go.
Hello, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I guess as good as anybody could be in this whole weird situation.
Yes, definitely. Before we get started, for the guys that don't know who you are, if you'd like to just introduce sell yourself a bit.
Well, this is always a weird part, isn't it? Well, some people might watch me on YouTube or follow me on Instagram. My kind of handle thing is JAJ TV. I have been kind of doing car content for the past 3 years since I met Steph ABTV when I used to work with him. And he kind of got me into the whole kind of car scene. I like cars anyway, but I kind of got into that scene there. And yeah, from then I've basically created car content on YouTube, but I also live stream games. I was kind of heavily involved in wanting to be a commercial airline pilot, so I used to do flight simulation as well, but I kind of ended up steering more towards cars than that, and live streaming more kind of flight sim content kind of here and there. But no, I'm 24 as well, I guess. It's always good to show your age. I'm trying to think what else. It's always a weird one, isn't it, when you put on the spot? It's like being in an interview. Avid gamer, love my cars, big Ford fan. I've been doing YouTube for a good amount of time, but it's been very on and off. I think it is for a lot of people, isn't it? It's very much hit and miss, but
it's
hard to be consistent.
Keeping yourself busy, and like as you said, you're a gamer, so really, like I play games quite a bit as well. So for me, it's really a shock to the system not being able to go out as such.
I completely agree.
Whereas for Aaron, I mean, he's actually handled it pretty well. He's doing like a weekly like lockdown vlog.
You have to adapt. You have to adapt.
Yeah, exactly.
Adapt or go home. On a way,
exactly.
I'm actually surprised. I was going to say he's ripped out all his hair because of it, but he's actually not had the dodgy haircut.
Well, mine's getting really long now. I was like, I don't know what to do with it. But...
Yeah, well, I've already had a quarantine trim, but it's growing back, so I've got to get it chopped off again by the missus. But
I'm debating whether I want to let that happen.
Yeah. So anyway, when looking at your YouTube channel, it's quite an eccentric kind of mix of stuff, because I was looking.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it?
I was like, I swear you do car stuff, and then I'm like, there's all this flight simulator stuff. Like, whoa, that's crazy. So So what got you into? Because obviously you said you wanted to be. Did you say you wanted to be a pilot, like for real?
Yeah. When I was younger, like my goal in life was to become a commercial airline pilot, and I used to train and play flight simulator all the time. Like, I'd be one of them kids that you could generally say if you're on a plane and like the pilot died or something, or just couldn't fly the plane anymore, I'd be the guy that put my hand up and be like, yeah, I am there to fly that plane. I generally think, like, you know, playing on a flight simulator really, like, it makes you realise how realistic it really is in comparison to the real thing.
Really?
A lot of it's just all computer systems, really. As long as you can program and write and have a good sense of feel for the joystick or whatever, it's you're all good. But you know, it's I wanted to do it for a while. I used to create flight simulation content, just like what the best add-ons were to use. I guess it's no different to the best mods for a certain car, really. But it's more like, you know, these are the best free ones you can get. These are the best pay ones. And funnily enough, they're the 2 videos that have done the best for me ever on my channel.
Oh,
so here's a question for you. Do you prefer making car content or flight simulator content?
It's a weird one, because I enjoy flying on flight sim, like flying to weird destinations all over the world and challenging myself to be able to land in weird, wonderful airports with stupid aircraft that probably shouldn't land there in real life. But I also, to an extent, I love my car. I love my RS. I do like making car videos, just getting to chuck them around and kind of give like a 24-year-old boy's opinion on it from someone who's like in that stage that transition from like a hot hatch of a Fiesta ST into a kind of now the kind of, as you call them, super hot hatches or whatever you call the Focus RS up to the RS3s and stuff. You know, it's a good take on things, because a lot of people are like, you know, there's a big age range on kind of YouTube on the automotive content scene, you know, and it really does depend on kind of what you're into. For me, it was just like, I just like jumping in the car, accelerating quick. I'm not one of them idiot drivers that will drift around corners, and that's probably because I just don't have the ability to do so.
Yeah.
But it's more, I don't know. I just like driving. I like driving things that are quick. Anything with an engine for me is just, you can stick me in a train, I'd still have fun. So, you know, anything with an engine that moves and accelerates pretty quickly, and you know, I've always been in kind of, I can't go bloody word for it now. Not desire. What the hell is the word for not wanting something?
Ambition?
No. I can't remember what it's called now. I like being involved with stuff that, like, all the mechanical sides of areas.
Yeah.
So anything that's got an engine, I like to know how it works. I like to know, you know, power outputs and stupid things like that, and how it gets to power with the power to weight ratio, and anything to do with an engine that's a mechanically operated thing, I like.
Yeah, and obviously you now own a Focus RS. Tell us, obviously, how your ownership's been.
Oh, yeah, I'm presuming you already know a little bit, because I remember when we met at SMMT and you were like, don't get one, they're crap. Don't get one, they're crap. No, I don't like them. Well, I was like, no, I'm a full fan, I've got to get one. So my ownership has been probably one of the worst for a lot of RS owners.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the sense that, you know, I had the car for a month.
Bro.
Had the car for a month, and I took it to Bruntingthorpe Aerodrome.
Yeah.
And I was actually with Luke, Hampshire Photography, when he was doing his hot hatch shoot, and mine was the only modified car there. And Sam, the guy in the A45 AMG, was like, "Oh, go on, let's have a little go against yours then." So I was like, and there was another guy that wanted to cut, because there was another stock Focus RS who wanted to have a go in it, see what it's like. So I was like, yeah, fine, we'll do it. So I'm not launching it, I'll do a rolling one. And I left the car running for like 15-20 minutes just to kind of idle over, which I guess in some ways stupid, because it's gone from just idling to blitzing it up at like 5k revs on a bloody like drag strip. And you know, fair play, the car done all right. It was probably like 4 or 5 car lengths ahead of the A45.
Oh, that's pretty decent.
You know, because it's stage 2 M400R with mount tune, so it's quick. That was, I think it was a 65 plate A45 MG, so about 376 bhp.
Yeah, about 380. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had someone in the car with me as well, so you know, I was weighted down, and it was still pulling like a choo-choo train.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was all fine. And then it kind of, we done a couple of runs, and then it was like, oh yeah, that's not fair. He said, oh, I missed a gear, and I was like, how can you miss a gear in an automatic car? Or messed up my gearing. I was like, okay, right. So we turned around and went back down and blitzed it, and got to about, I think it was fifth gear at 5,000 revs, and all I saw was a bunch of flashing on the dashboard. I was like, what the hell has gone on here?
Yeah.
The revs just went down on the RS. I was still doing like 100 miles an hour, and the revs just went like down to like 2,000.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? And then the engine just shut off at about 40 miles an hour, and I had to roll in. I was like, this isn't right. And basically we thought that like a spark plug had come loose or something had gone wrong with it. Just a little minor thing that would have caused it to gone into limp mode.
Yeah.
The oil temperature was just going through the roof. It was like bouncing up and down on the little turbo gauge thing you got in the RS.
In the center.
And and it wasn't. It just, you know, it couldn't even start. It couldn't start itself. So you do the thing, try and get it started, and it would just start like that, and it couldn't hold its own revs. You had to manually hold it with the throttle. Otherwise, it wouldn't even idle. Yeah, it just shut itself down. So. Yeah, we got it back. It went in for an inspection with Ford about a week and a half later. And they were like, yeah, we think it's a spark plug. So I changed the spark plug, done a test drive. It blew 2 more spark plugs. We're like, okay, there's seriously something wrong here. So they were like, we want to remove the cylinder head. Yeah. So they're like, yeah, can we have like 1,200 quid to go and do that? Luckily, I bought the car from a dealership, and Cavendish Car Sales can't praise them enough, you know. They were like, look, you know, it's still under warranty for 3 months, so just, it's fine, we'll sort that out. Yeah. So they've done it. and it basically melted the pistons and blew a hole in the cylinder head, and it chipped the pistons. Like, you can see holes in the pistons on the sides of them, and like the top of the cylinder head and the cylinder were just covered in black soot.
So there was no evident cracking on the block then?
No. It looked like see, my dad used to be an ex-master technician for Ford.
Yeah.
And he had a look at some of the pictures, because I always go to him before anyone else, because I know you can trust someone that's close to you and that experience. So the reason for me having Fords is probably because of that. I can get them done cheaply, and he knows how to look after them.
Yeah.
And he had a look at it in the pictures and stuff, and he goes, "That doesn't look right to me." He goes, because they basically said, they blamed the tuning on it. They blamed mount tuning. They said, your maps basically overfueled the car, and then it's caused it to melt the pistons and stuff like that. And I was like, of course they blame them out. My dad actually said that it looked like there was a valve. There's a valve that's I can't remember what it's called. There's a rotating valve within like the cylinder or something that rotate around for some reason. And he said it looks like it's just got stuck, and then all of a sudden it's just got so hot that the valve's just exploded, like gone into the pistons, been mashed up by the pistons in the cylinder head, then chucked out the arse end of it.
Yeah.
Because it looked awful. I'll see if I can send you over some pictures. Maybe you can
definitely do. Put them into the video. Yeah, because mine was a bit more self-inflicted, what I did to mine. So I was at a Berkeley Square meet in London, and it was 30 odd degrees. It was boiling, and obviously crowds of people. We've got all sorts of cars turning up, and obviously I had everything Mountain on it, because at the time Mrs. used to work at Mountain HQ. Yeah. So I was pretty much the first one within the customers to get stuff Mountain on it, which was quite cool. So yeah, I took it to obviously this meet in London. I had the exhaust on it, and the exhausts that they made were just insane. They just popped and banged all the time.
I got the V3 catback on mine, so the loud one. That was what you had as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I had I had M380 on it at the time, because that was the only. They had the 375 and then they had the 380. So I just thought, in my experience, whenever I had my Fiesta and I had mounting and stuff on it, even though they said, it's not warranty approved, Ford, when I ever took it to Ford, they always go, it's mounting, it'll be fine. It's not going to affect your warranty. So I was like, nah, just 380, why not? So yeah, I was just literally on the limiter all the time, popping and banging. Everyone was going, way, going mad and loving it. And then all of a sudden, I just see the engine light come up, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute, what's going on here? And then it went into limp mode, and it was going on and off. And then the whole fiasco of taking it to my Ford dealer, and they'll go, no, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. So I took it to my mate's garage, who they used to specialise in Cosworths back in the day, and they're taking out the spark plugs to see what's going on. And one of them, you didn't even turn, and he went, I'm not turning that anymore. If I do, I'm not threading the whole cylinder head and where that spark plug is.
Yeah.
So that's when they went, they must be cooling. So the block's cracked. So I thought, okay, after the second time of taking it to the dealer, I went to Ford, look, you need to sort this now, it's taking the mick. And I go, no, there's nothing wrong with it. And then it got to the point where they went, we've got to get an RS technician in now. There's something wrong with the car. And then I get a call back about probably 4 hours later, and they go, we're going to get a complete new engine. And that was it. And then after that, it was just sour grapes with the car, really. I just never really fell in love with it again.
I found that it's difficult, because you're sat there thinking, when's it going to go wrong again? Like, if I'm hammering this, like it's meant to be, it's built for, these cars are like track built cars, by Ford, to be chucked around B roads and chucked around on tracks. And, they're blowing up left, right and centre. Well, they were originally on the 16 plate ones. They had so many issues with the head gaskets on them and stuff like that. But the later ones are all right. But
they've
luckily now I've got, luckily I've got a 16 plate RS, which has got a chassis which is 4 years old, but I've got an engine which is less than a year old, and it's done no more than 5,000 miles.
Yeah.
So, luckily it's got a new lump in it. Whether that will off-put people when I decide to eventually sell it, I don't know. But for a lot of people, I think if I said, it's actually got the newer engine in it with all the problems sorted, it's probably more appealing.
I lost $8,000 in mine.
Jeez. Yeah. See, I paid 25 for mine. with obviously the mount tune M400R and stuff already on it, with a full mount tune kit on it.
That's decent price.
There's not many, and you know, in the nitrous blue color, it was fully specced out with the Lux pack. It's even got the can't even remember what they're called now. Rooftop, no, not rooftop.
Panoramic roof?
Yeah, well, it's not. It's a ish panoramic roof.
Yeah,
sunroof. I don't know what was on my mind.
I didn't know you could get a sunroof as an option for the.
Yeah, you can get a sunroof. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you can. And mine's one of the only ones in the country to be specced with that as a 16 plate.
Okay.
So they were saying it's quite a rare one to see. Actually, not many get specced with that. So it was nearly £40,000 now.
Blimey.
So I was like, yeah. So
Well,
Focus.
They separate the orders, so they did like the first phase for like 28 grand on the road, and that's when I got mine.
Yeah,
they went up to like 32 and then 34. It was mad, absolutely mad.
Yeah, and it's just nuts. Like, and I love the car to bits, but you know, I just found another issue with it. So after the engine got swapped, I've obviously had the car back since just before I went on holiday in October last year, so about 7 months. And they obviously changed everything on the wheel alignment to realign it after they took everything to bits. And my dad came around yesterday because I'm due to have another set of tyres on it and have some brakes put on it as well. And I said to my dad, I was like, they don't actually look that worn. I was like, do you mind coming around and just checking them over? And he did. Yeah. And we locked the wheel, turned around. There's cords both on the front inner tyre. There's cords showing it. So technically the tyres are now illegal on the front. So I've got to get them changed ASAP. And that's because the camber was set on it so poorly. So not fun at the moment. Back tyres, I'm going to get done anyway, even there's still 3mm tread on it, but I'm just going to keep the two back ones as spares just in case one goes wrong. But yeah, I love it to bits and I love looking at it. And it's one of them cars that 400 brake, I think it's 560 Newton meters of torque. It is a scary car to drive because it tramlines like hell as well. Veering, steering, or whatever they want to call it.
Do you get the experience when you're driving like in a straight line at like really high speed and it sort of like it does that on the steering wheel because it's electrically assisted?
Yeah.
It's electric power steering does that, doesn't it?
Yeah, and also like just the way that the camber and the chassis set up on it with the wheels, it just pulls to the right sometimes or pulls to the left. Like you'll be overtaking someone, and then all of a sudden your car just decides it's a great idea to try and veer into a bush, and you're like, what are you doing? And it's generally scary. Like, and a lot of RS owners will probably know that it is quite scary. Even if you're like 80 miles an hour, if you're on like a slightly uneven road, the RS will pick a fault in that road and follow where that hole has taken it to.
And how'd you find the ride?
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun.
It's such a jiggly ride, isn't it? I love the Focus RS, but if I had the money to go out and buy one, as much as it pains me to say, because I do love a fast Ford, although I must admit I've never really owned one, I think I'd have to buy the FK8 Civic Type R, because even in its sport mode, it's so compliant, it's so nice. But the Focus RS, I love the Focus RS, but even in its most docile setting, you still feel like you're kind of pogoing down the road, kind of like
that is it.
Like you're in a tractor.
And you put it in race mode, and everything gets worse.
Yeah, your teeth fall out normally.
Yeah, you're like going like this.
You find out you've got jiggly tits.
Yeah, basically.
I don't have that problem. Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Because it's interesting because you've obviously progressed from an ST. I assume that's what you had in your mind. You went, well, I've owned a Fiesta ST. I want to jump to a Focus RS. But now, obviously, owning both, what would you prefer? Do you regret selling the Fiesta ST over the RS?
That's a good question. So, yeah, I had a Fiesta ST 200, so it was quite a rare one, the Storm Grey one. It was a really nice car as well. I had it matched by, really nice colour. And I loved it. You could chuck it into anything and it would just go around the corner like a rocket. You know, they're very, very nimble cars, the good old Fiesta STs. But by far, the Focus RS is a better car in every way, shape and form. The way it is like glued to the road. the all-wheel drive system. When you get a kind of mount tune or get it remapped, it just turns into a completely different animal. Like
that's what I said when I had mine. Like it didn't really feel that special when it wasn't mapped. And then as soon as I had the mount tune map on it, mid range, it just insanely pull so much more.
And they sound so nice. Like thing is with the Fiesta STs, they're associated. They're a great car, but they are associated with boy races of people that like to go and mod the arse end out of them and put loud arse exhaust on them, and they just sound like crap. I've never heard a Fiesta ST that looks at like what it sounds like. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I just find that it's I don't know. I've always found that I do like the Fiesta STs, and I think with a Miltech exhaust they sound good. But like you can get the KMS Hurricane ones where it spits it off like the RS does, and I like it. Don't get me wrong, but then you actually look at the actual build quality of it; it just looks so crap.
Yeah,
It's so poor, and I just liked mine. It was subtle, but it was fast, and a lot of people would give it you, and you just rip the arse end out of them in this little Fiesta ST, and they look at you like, "What the hell is that thing?"
Yeah. Do you see? For me, I preferred the Mark 7 ST over the RS. I just for me, like when I used my missus's one, she had the hybrid turbo on it and stuff, so it was rapid. And just the whole thing was just more usable. I took both of them on a European rally, and again, I prefer the ST over the RS.
I think with the ST, I think, although it's still got a firm ride, it's not quite as jiggly as the Focus RS, because the Fiesta is smaller. It's more chuckable on a B road. And I've driven both cars, and they're both cracking vehicles. Dare I say, you could probably have more fun in the Fiesta. Maybe that's a bit controversial.
I agree in some sense, because to get the full potential of the RS, the thing is with the M400, you're at the speed limit before you know it. And you're like, do I really want to be pushing this thing 90 miles an hour around a corner on a B road? Because I've had it where I've come off a roundabout, and just because it's so torquey, even though it's all-wheel drive, I've slid round the bloody roundabout and nearly crashed.
Yeah.
It was, when we had that like torrential storm like last, not last year. Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah.
Kind of like September, October time. And I remember coming around the roundabout, and some geezer and some BMWs just sat up my arse. I was like, I've got all-wheel drive, I'll be fine. Come off the roundabout, second gear.
Famous last words. Watch this.
Yeah. And, it's fine when you're trying to drift, but it scares the living crap out of you.
When you're not expecting it.
When you're not expecting it, and all of a sudden you're going into a corner to come round, and the thing is, the back just slides out. And I just remember like seeing the road that way, and I was facing that way, and just seeing
and to look out your side window.
Yeah, and I just see this geezer in some like Mercedes E-Class just looking at me like, what is going on here?
Absolute expletive. Given the fact that we are speaking quite extensively about the Focus RS, what are your thoughts on the fact that there will be no more Focus RS for the time being?
Gutted. I was kind of sat there thinking, I'll buy the Mark III and then wait for the Mark IV to come out and see what kind of goes on with that. I think for Ford, it's just out of the question, really. You got to look at the majority of the people that own Fords. They're all Fiesta owners, Cougar owners, Galaxies and stuff like that, little Focus owners, standard Focuses. They're just a family car, really, aren't they? And, they do offer the RS range, what used to. But I think for them, there's not much money in it. I remember speaking to someone at Mount Tune, and they were saying that Ford Performance actually nearly lost all their money just because they screwed up on the actual build quality of the car.
Oh, really?
Because they had to spend so much money replacing a warranty that in Ford's mind, they were like, look, we let you create this car. We're giving you the budget to create this car.
Yeah.
And you've done something wrong with it on the build quality that's cost us millions.
Well, they actually rushed the development of it, because they should have needed more time on it, but they needed to get it out. But you got this like crazy stuff with the head gaskets going wrong, all that stuff. But
and that sort of stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I like the Mark III RS. I think I saw some concept designs in the Mark IV RS, or when people were doing concepts, and some of the designs that were coming out are really nice. I think the only way they could do it is by putting like an electrical power plant in it. But then again, do you really want an electric power plant in a rally car?
Yeah.
You know, it's built on that rally sport sort of.
Yeah, but it's the way it's going, isn't
motive.
it, for them to make these things happen. But for me,
Yeah.
I'm a bit disappointed because at the minute I think Ford are just plaguing the market with SUVs and like stuff that the consumer actually doesn't want, even though the market says they want it. So like, i.e., people are buying SUVs more than anything at the minute. But
yeah. I don't know why.
I mean, Ford, for example, bringing a Puma and an SUV body, it's just like, what are you doing?
It's just stupid, yeah.
And
it's
then,
like
and then it's like the RS is like the Focus RS is the only RS product that they have on their range, and it has a big heritage behind it. And then the fact that they're stopping it completely is just, why are you doing it? And I think Toyota doing this GR Yaris is actually showing the consumer that, showing Ford that no, the consumer actually want a small wheel-based car with an RS badge on it in a Fiesta, for example, but they're not doing it. So, and I doubt they will, because they said they can't afford to do the Focus RS. So,
I think it's unlikely to see a Fiesta RS when they've dropped the Focus variant.
That piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
You know, it is a real strange one, because in some way I'm like, oh yeah, this is good for me, because I bought an RS right at the right time when they started to drop in value. You know, they're holding about 20 to 25, so I bought it with the M400 package on it. You know, stage 2. I was like, that's £4,000 worth of mods done to it that I'm not even really having to pay for, because even the stock ones were still going for that price. You know, year on down the line, I could still probably sell it for like 23.5. I'm hoping they'll stay and hold their value, or even go up in value as the years or months go on. When
I'm sure they will do.
Yeah, when I sold it, and then my view changed on the car. Like, I mean, it's still a good car. Like I've always said to a lot of people, the Mark III RS is a very good track car, but not so much for the road.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've taken it on track yet.
I've never taken it on track.
Obviously, Bruntingthorpe's a straight line, isn't it? Really, but like, take it somewhere like Snetterton, for example, and like the car, when you put it in track mode, it is phenomenal. It's the absolute nuts. But as soon as you get on the road, it's not very good. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's a shame what Ford are doing, but it is what it is. You can't really. We're not gonna solve it. We ain't gonna be able to do anything about it. So
yeah, it sucks. I kind of think that I think they'll probably bring out a Fiesta of. Well, the issue is they're struggling to even sell the new Mark 8 Fiesta STs. They can't. People don't want them.
Yeah, I don't actually see that many on the road as much as I did with the Mark 7. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. I've seen a few on the road, but interestingly, pretty much all of the ones I have seen are 5 doors, which I find quite surprising.
And then it throws the argument out the window of that people want like Focuses instead of Fiestas, because the idea of 5 doors in comparison is.
That's right. To be fair, I saw my first like on the road Mark IV ST.
Yeah.
And he just looked at my car, and we both came off the roundabout, and he started giving it, and I just left him for dead, because you know, I've got an extra 100. The way he looked at my car in terms of the sound of it, I think as well, because when the V3 catback system sounds amazing on the RSs, they just roar. They don't even sound like a car. They just sound like an obnoxious imbecile just driving down the road like a tank. But you know, it pops and bangs like crazy, and they just don't even try it. You get Fiestas that try it. Some of these Fiestas really do keep up. I think like if you're in a stage 3 Fiesta, you'll keep up with the stage 2.
Can't see you.
No, little
dog. So it's I think the stage 3 Fiesta ST, they're definitely great cars, and I think they will easily keep up with the stage 2 RS. But it's, you know, you're never going to not many people can take an RS stage 3, can they?
Yeah,
it's what, 15 grand that Mount Tune want to stick that Mount Tune 520 on it. It's like, would anyone in their right mind pay for that?
Shmee did.
Did he actually pay, or did he get it free?
Oh, I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll leave that for another day.
Yeah.
So,
but to be fair,
what car do you think you'd buy next? I know you've not had the Focus for that long, but what do you plan to replace it with?
So you're probably going to think I'm ludicrous, but my my aim for a next car, and I said to myself by the time I'm 27, I'll own an Audi R8.
Okay, not bad at all. They're pretty good value on the used market.
Yeah, so it's either that or a C63 AMG or a C63S AMG.
Nice.
The missus prefers the C63 because it looks more nice, rounded, everyday car. But then again, the Audi R8, I think I would want one on a 16 plate because they're slightly facelifted ones.
Yeah.
Get a V10 Plus. I just think they sound amazing. I don't even care how quick they are or how good around the track. They just sound nice.
Yeah, they're wicked cars.
I remember SMMT going out in the new facelift one when they came out. Like, was it last year?
Yeah, it was the last.
Yeah,
last SMMT. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was amazing. I just remember going out and I was thinking, this car sounds so good.
Yeah.
Like, you just tear out the streets. But then again, I do like the sound of my RS. Like, that thing tears through the streets. Like, it, first, second gear, third gear, pulls like an animal. But like, even if you just leave it in seconds and just blitz it around town, like, because I live near Buckingham, so there's a lot of like closed-in town, walls and stuff. Sound just echoes, like pops and bangs, just echoes through the town. I've had it before where I've scared people. Like, I've revved it up and it's popped and banged really loud, echoed throughout the thing. You just see people like jumping. Funny, like, you don't think, an RS can do that, but it can.
Yeah.
Once it's modified, anyway.
And that's what makes them. That's what makes hot hatches so attractive, because you can get such an all-rounded car.
Yeah.
That does what most supercars can nowadays do. I mean, obviously,
I love
supercars are just getting more and more insane as the years go on. But
that's the thing, And I remember, some guy in a BMW M4 had behind me come off a roundabout, and he was sat up my arse. I thought, screw this, I'm gonna give it a go, because what are they, 440, I think, stock.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And it looked fairly new. It looked fairly new, but they're quite heavy as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
What are they 17, 1800 kilos?
Yeah, roughly.
Something like that. So power to weight ratio, I was like, there's not much in this. I'm all-wheel drive, so I'll probably pick up traction a bit better. I just blitzed. And you could see he tried to keep up. I was just gone off the roundabout. And I think he then, what the typical people do, they're like, when you're in a faster car, then it accelerates a lot quicker. You pull over when you kind of reach that speed limit, you're like, I'm not risking it anymore. And they come flying past you at 120 miles an hour just to prove a point.
Yeah.
But I think the funniest thing I've had is a Tesla Model 3, the Performance Edition, 20 plate. Some like 55, 60-year-old guy just took a look at my car and pulled out behind me as we pulled onto a dual carriageway. I was like, I know where this is going. So I left it in seconds as we came out around the roundabout, and I just planted it and just went. This Model 3 was at my backside the whole time. I could not get off. I could not lose him. So fast. But it's just the amount of like torque and like power they have, just instant, isn't it? There's no build up. It's just it's just kind of there. Yeah. I think top end I would have had him, and I felt like I was just creeping away. But it's just funny because your car's making all this loud noise, and there's just this Tesla that's silent, just chasing you behind. It's weird thing. But
yeah, right. We're gonna talk about something else that you do, which not a lot of people kind of see. You don't actually talk about it too much. You promote it, but not really.
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
But before we do that, Zoom is telling me that I'm a cheapskate and it's about to cut me out on recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording, and then hopefully I can get around and do another 40 minutes. So bear with me. I'm going to edit this in. So with the power editing, nothing happened. So I'm going to get on to, I'd say, the last topic, because we've spoken for quite a long time now, actually over 40 minutes, which is crazy. So yeah, you obviously run a social media marketing company. Correct me on how you describe it.
Yeah, so it's I run an influencer marketing company, and basically what that is I manage a variety of influencers, or represent, work with. There's loads of different things you can kind of associate it to. Some we manage exclusively, some we just represent, some we just work on one-off basis stuff like that. But we work with companies to help them promote their products with influencers. So whether that's in gaming, automotive, that's kind of what we kind of specialize in. So Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I've run it for 2 years now, about 2 years, and it's done well. And it's kind of just picked up. It was kind of like a part-time thing where I kind of, helped friends out, to get work and stuff like that, and it benefited me with a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turned into like a full-time kind of thing, really.
Yeah.
I still do 2 jobs, but the business earns enough for me to warrant working full-time.
Yeah, and is that obviously something that you're going to branch into more and get rid of your full-time job as a whole? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I might, I think, my goal is to run the business full-time, obviously have a nice, number of staff working for me, or working with me as such, not working for me. And, still potentially do what I do now as like consulting for companies. So I might do like 2 days a week consultancy or whatever, or contracting for, businesses in what I currently do. And then kind of 3 days kind of working for myself.
Yeah. And because obviously you're involved quite a lot with gaming, how have you seen it transfer into like automotive companies that wouldn't necessarily use gaming as a way of advertising?
Yeah, so there's lots of different companies that kind of look at very much like, if they're advertising in the automotive space, they don't think about, okay, there's more than just these people that like cars. There's gamers that like cars because they're playing Forza, they're playing Gran Turismo Sport.
Yeah.
So how can we tie that in together? So you get the right influencers that have a good demographic age, of an audience that can promote products well enough to generate either money for the business or just brand awareness. A lot of them just like brand awareness. They just want to become known as a kind of go-to company in that sort of space.
Yeah.
And it helps them get sort of a brand presence within their niches, which, traditional marketing might not be able to do. Because, with influencers, I hate the word influence, but content creators.
So do I.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that, because whenever I hear that word, I just cringe.
Yeah. It's weird because we kind of have to say, oh, we're in the influence marketing, business. And yes, they do influence people's purchasing decisions, but anyone could be an influencer. I think it takes a lot to be a content creator. But you can't call it content creator marketing, can you? Because any of us are content creators. Traditional marketing is a content creation, but so from that sort of sense. But it's just a lot of the content creators have big audiences that buy into what they say and believe what they say, because a lot of the time they won't promote stuff they don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
You could offer some of the guys like $4 or $5 grand per promotion, and most of them turn around and say no, because if it's not something that they like or they want to promote, or it doesn't bode well with them as a person, they just won't do it. Whereas you get a lot better return on investment. So you think that if you paid a radio station 10 grand to have your jingle tune with your car dealership played on there a load of times, how many car sales really are you going to get through that? And you can't even track it. Whereas if you can pay a variety of influencers and use a budget of 10 grand and get loads of content creators to do stuff for you. And a lot of the time people will then follow, if they're saying, well, go and buy from this dealership because they are the best one. This is where I get my cars from or whatever, and then deals for them. A lot of people are going to go, okay, I trust your recommendation like you would a friend.
Yeah.
And then they go to that dealership or whatever product it is and try it out. And then from that point, when the customer gets there, it's then up to the business to make it worth their time. You get a lot of companies that, blame an influencer for poor performance, when a lot of the time it's, some products that they're promoting is just then dealt with in a bad way after they've got to the site or something like that. So it's about
or there's general no interest in that product or service.
Yeah, exactly, and you can't predict that.
No,
you can try to predict, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
But it's a growing industry. I think we're kind of like early adopters as such.
Yeah.
I think a lot of marketing / media is going to go that way in the future. So that's kind of why I got into it, really. I just enjoy chatting with people and meeting people, and that's exactly what I get to do.
Yeah.
I get to go to cool events like Goodwood Festival of Speed and go on cool press trips and stuff. And, it allows me to be able to get cool things out of it in some way, but also help all the people around me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it sounds great. Great stuff.
So do you run the company by yourself, or do you have? I know you said earlier you'd like to have people work with you, but do you have any kind of help? You just do it all off your own back.
Yeah, so I have a couple of people that are doing some work with me now. One that's in hope of getting a full-time role after all this coronavirus stuff, kind of blows over, but also they want to do it for experience themselves. They want to kind of get some stuff to put on their own portfolio.
Yeah.
But also, I've got a couple of guys that are doing some sales stuff where, they just want to earn commission, so they're happy to just recommend people our way, and then if we turn them into a client, they will get 30% or whatever it is of said deal.
Yeah.
So from that point, it works out quite well, because it's kind of you get out what you put in, but we're a business which is still growing, and it's just trying to get the resources to be able to take that leap. It's like, oh, I can go full time now and know that I'm secure.
Yeah.
At this present time, I think we're there anyway, but it's just like the whole coronavirus stuff has kind of skewed a lot of plans, because
Yeah, of course.
It's making sure you got that money behind you, and if you can have two incomes, it's certainly better than one right now.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And I'd imagine that advertising companies that would approach you to obviously go towards content creators probably haven't got any money to spend or want to advertise.
Well, strangely enough, we've seen a massive upturn. We've actually brought on more clients than we have in the recent months. Yeah, because the guys that are promoting are the ones that have the money, and the ones that are still making money because they're all online.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah.
So then people are still spending money. They're just spending it all online. So then all these companies are getting more market budget, and they're like, can you find some influencers that can promote our product or service, please? Like, yeah, sure. Give us a week or two. We'll find the right guys and see what you think.
Because you do it for me, it's just like, obviously people are making money somehow, but it's just like, are people wanting to spend money at the minute? And when you're seeing, like, my missus works at a car garage and they're like rammed at the minute, and you're thinking, like, how are people spending money on their car? It's like some people, obviously it's a necessity, but you think, wow, people still spending money on things during this time. But yeah, it's especially good because we're obviously starting to get back to normality. Well, some sort of normality, but no, it's interesting for people that may want to have a look at the company. Where can they go to have a look? Yeah,
so it's just called 4-Stroke Media. We're currently going through a kind of rebranding stage at the moment, so our website still looks fine. It hasn't been updated in a while. Yeah. But the hard thing is when you're running a business kind of like by yourself sort of thing and doing a lot of the work yourself, trying to work with clients, but then also work with influencers, and then try and update all the testimonials and all the project work you've done. There's only so much time in the day, and trying to get the website updated with all the stuff we've done can be really difficult. So we are working on it, and we're doing a rebranding piece, and it looks a lot nicer now, a lot cleaner, a lot sleeker. So we're just getting that kind of website piece done now. But yeah, 4strokemedia.com or 4stroke.media, I think will point you to the same place as well.
Yeah, I'll drop everything in the description below for everyone.
Got a little Instagram page, but that's more just to share what our guys do.
Yeah. No. And obviously I'll drop down your Instagram tag. You on Facebook as well, or just Instagram?
I do have a Facebook page as well. It's just JJ _TV, I think, or JJ TV.
So again,
it's linked to my Instagram. Yeah,
I'll drop obviously the details below. I don't know if you've got any other questions to ask James at all, Aaron.
Nothing that really springs to mind. Yeah, I think it's been quite thorough.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I didn't think it'd go on for this long, but
yeah, no, mate. Me and Aaron are pros at talking for long lengths of time.
Oh, so am I. Get me started. I can't stop.
But no, all I can say is, mate, a big thank you for coming on. And
no worries at all. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, really
good to have you on.
And obviously, guys, if you're watching, if you want to follow James, please do follow everything in the description. Head his way. Give him a follow on YouTube. You've got obviously a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it'd be great to see you afterwards when this all gets properly lifted. At the minute,
yeah, definitely.
Some people seem to think otherwise, but we'll let them get on with it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well,
but no,
SMMT's been sending out invites again, haven't they? So
yes,
I was like,
September. So hopefully, be all back to
hopefully
normal.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
See, for
Go
me,
out and drive some lovely cars.
Yeah, see, for me, I've been kind of like not done much on camera for a while, and because of this lockdown, it's actually kind of given me the motivation to get back and do some videos, but I can't. And I don't want to be irresponsible at this moment in time. So
I filmed one video, and it was me cleaning my car. It looked much nicer actually afterwards, but I was like, I filmed it like 4 weeks ago, and I haven't even edited it. I was like, I'm going to end up putting it out, and it's going to be like 4 weeks old. It's like, is it even worth putting out at this point in time?
Put it out. People need content to watch. That's
yeah.
That's like for me at the minute.
Thing is,
just confined to doing Carchatters and Gran Turismo Sport live streams, which has actually been quite cool. Have you got Gran Turismo?
I don't. I've got Forza.
Oh, that's a shame. See, that's for me. I've got Forza, but I haven't got the will to go with it. So
yeah.
But yeah, sorry, Aaron, I interrupted you, mate.
Yeah, the thing is, a video with you cleaning your car, it's still going to be as relevant now as it was 4 weeks ago. So I'd say still put it up, because for the people watching, how do they know you filmed it 4 weeks ago? For all they know, you could have filmed it yesterday.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'd still use it if I were you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I just need to get it edited. That's the thing. Every time I think about going to edit a video, I'm like, I've probably got better things to do, like in terms of work that I need to get done.
Yeah.
So, or I'm sat there thinking, I could just go and live stream right now, go and chat with people, and just go and play some games. Yeah, live streaming I think is generally one of the best ways forward in content creation.
Yeah.
You get so much, the viewership isn't there all the time, but the engagement's so much better.
Yeah, definitely. Well, for me, I've actually had like followers of the channel joining us for the actual racing, which although obviously I appreciate Aaron joining as well. I've known obviously Aaron for years, but actually getting people that have followed you and your journey actually joining you, doing something that they wouldn't be able to necessarily do in real life as such, like meeting up and going for a drive, which is a lot obviously harder to organise. Doing a Gran Turismo Sport lobby is it's just it's almost the same thing, but you get obviously that engagement, and it's wicked fun, and I'm trying to do them weekly at the minute. So no, it's really good.
Live stream is not easy. Trying to allocate that time as well is
well for me, because I've never done live streaming before. Obviously, I set up Streamlabs. I've got like audio overlay sorted, but it was getting like it all set up so you could hear the audio. Everyone on the stream could hear it, and it was just a nightmare. It was actually harder than filming an actual car review. I was like, it's mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling.
It is. Once you get used to it, though, you're all right.
Yeah. So. But anyway, mate, look, thank you very much again for joining us.
No worries at all.
For the people watching, if you'd like to see anyone on the show in the future, please do leave it in the comments below. Of course, me and Aaron are still trying to keep Carchatters alive during these unprecedented times. But in the meantime, please leave your thoughts, and give James a follow. He's a cracking lad, and he's pushing the advertising game to a new level. So appreciate your time, mate, and
thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it.
And we'll catch up for a drive in the future sometime.
Yes, hopefully my car doesn't blow up.
No worries, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Take care.
Take care, James.
Catch you later.
Speak to you later.